Yeah, cruising in the ocean with my fellas, waving at the shore, we got all them people jealous. They see that we shining from way over yonder. Gotta thank my father, my sponsor, for putting me on board and also giving me the capability to live life with no fear, create buzz with no beer. God is the reason why I live like this. Now everybody hating me, now I feel like Chris. Working out, eating right, now I look like this. Phone filled with different numbers, now my ex all pissed. Now I'm playing, she don't care cause she move like this. Man, I ain't hating cause she bad, man, we all ruthless. Man, I got money in my pocket, diamonds on my pinky and that brain.
What up?
We here. Know that you talk, bros. The duo, the best wrestling duo in best wrestling tag team. I don't know how to describe it. You said that in the comments. When it comes to breaking down these wrestling analysis, however you want to say it, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can't touch us, man. Ain't nobody out there on YouTube, in the YouTube world that can touch us, bruh. We be telling y'all, man. In every situation, every way, every platform, every pattern. Can't touch us. You know what I'm saying? We got the Midas, you know, man. No, but hold on right there, brother. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so Seth Rollins went on Club SHAY. He
Which
went up
was
on Seth
dope.
Rollins' platform. I thought that
Which
was
was
fire,
dope.
bro.
That was dope. I was
Yeah,
reading in the comments. It was a lot of
yeah.
WWE fans that actually watched it and they actually appreciated Shannon Sharp for taking Seth Rollins serious in the interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you know, like
yes.
it was kind of dope to see us cross over. And I think that came with unfortunately it came with ESPN, man. It really did.
Yeah.
It really did. I mean, ESPN, I guess, opened the doors for a lot of other things. Oh, side note, no, the $30 I was talking about was that app that clips the things for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Opus OPUS clips, and they give you like 100 clips or whatever. But it's like $30 a month. It ain't the ESPN
Oh,
joint.
got you.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I can't keep paying for this joint, man. That joint was
I
crazy.
don't blame you. This
Yeah.
$30 is not where it's at, brother. I
Yeah,
get
like bro,
it.
it's
Sorry, man.
insane. Yeah,
If you had spent $5, I would have been like, okay, cool. We can keep
yeah,
that for eternity. But you talking about 30, bro? Like, nah,
yeah. That's
man.
what I'm saying. That's the only
No,
reason. Only
no,
reason.
I'm not doing that. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I paid Peacock for $7. That was the thing. That's the thing. How y'all went from having us pay $7
I
day
thought
one to
they
pay
moved
30
that up.
on
Like my
ESPN?
peacock moved up to like
Nah, no, mine
13,
is
13, 14. I'm about to see.
no,
I
no.
might get
But
it back
but
if it's
I
still
had a
seven.
re. But I tell you this though, I had a repurchase Peacock when they did Saturday Night's main event for the Obafemi joint. Mr. Clay Russell
Yeah,
had faced him, and I had to repay that. And I remember, that was John Cena last night. I'm tripping, yeah. So when I had paid that, they charged me $16 more. I'm like, why $16 more? I said,
yeah,
I'm not paying this. And they charged me that, and I think along with probably 6 or 7, something like that. So they went ahead and getting back my money. I said, thank you, God. Because I'm like, nah, like I'm not paying for that. I'm paying for just the 6, 7, whatever it is, 6, 7. See, I couldn't avoid it if I wanted to. Oh my gosh, you see that junk people be saying on TikTok, bro, with the whole 6, 7.
yeah.
That's so annoying. But anyways, man, that's all about it, bro. So Seth Rollins, this interview, bro.
Dope
Okay,
interview, man.
very dope interview. Very dope interview. Shan Sharp, as always, does a good job. Although I have to comment one thing: how in the hell did he grow out that beard so fast? Like I had to comment that one thing,
His beard
bruh.
do be flying fast.
It
It
was
do be flying
gruffy.
fast.
I was like, what happened to? I said, what happened to Shannon? I thought you had a goatee, bro. Like, but my man grew out a full on beard. You would thought that man was old as dirt. But I'm like, yo, what you doing?
Yeah,
But it's all good, man. We just
yeah.
cooking. But no, man. So okay, so I'm gonna go over the notes that I took while watching the episode. I took my time trying to like really pay attention. I had to kind of like go back and forth and play it back just so I can make sure I pay attention to what was being said in there, man. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I got it right here. So one, I'll go over it the same way. Seth got along with his stepfather, never really met his biological father.
So deep, so deep.
Yeah, man. And I wanted to touch on that because obviously me and you both have experience as far as not necessarily being our lives, bro. What did Seth Rollins say that made you go like, oh, I can relate to that for sure?
Hold on. You said what did Seth Rollins say that did what?
That made you go, I can relate to that. So I feel
Oh,
like
when
to a
Seth Rollins,
degree,
when the whole thing,
yeah,
man. Seth Rollins, when he was saying he had no animosity to his dad, I never had
I literally said the
animosity
same.
to
I was
my
like, I
dad.
said, BD is the same way. I said, BD is the same way. I said, as soon as he started
Yeah.
saying that, I said, BD's gonna say the same thing, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I never really had animosity for my dad. Now, I wasn't in position like he was. Like his dad was gone. I think he said 2 years old, and then he was adopted by his mom's first husband or something like that. Or so I
No,
didn't have that.
his mom's first husband was essentially his stepdad, but not his actual father. But he considered him to be his actual father,
Yeah,
even though they
yeah,
weren't
yeah, yeah,
necessarily. You know what I mean?
yeah. So
Yeah,
he
that part.
adopted him at 2 years old, right? That's when
Essentially,
he took
yeah,
the last
you can say
name
it that way.
Lopez, right?
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
right.
that was at
Yep.
2 years old. Yeah, so I never really had that opportunity to be like, all right, well, my real dad wasn't there, but then my mom got married to somebody and they adopted me at 2 years old. But I did have my grandpa, a lot of uncles, a lot of cousins, a lot of men that was in my life. So it really didn't
Hmm.
affect me that my dad wasn't there. So it didn't matter if he was there or if he wasn't. It, like Steph said, it wasn't like a something. It wasn't like a big deal that had to happen. You know what I'm saying? The link up
Right.
and the explanation and all that stuff didn't have to happen because I was already raised with good men around me. You know what I'm saying? Plus my mom. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely can
yeah.
relate to you know what I'm saying some ways that he was talking about. It's pretty slick. I was like, wow, that's
Hmm.
deep.
Yeah, bro. Yep, talked about that. Gets more extensive about that. And I love how Shannon just kept asking him questions more and more because I think Shannon wasn't trying to get like no hit piece of stuff, but he was just more so like, let's expand more as to what that was like. Like, how was your childhood like? And basically what he was saying was, Seth essentially said like overall his childhood was great. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm quite sure he has moments. Obviously, everyone goes through their own forms of having traumas, holes, and wounds in their lives. They're not gonna always exploit that, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? If you want him to do that, bring him over to McMahon's podcast, and she'll probably ask those questions. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp's it's not there to be asking all the therapeutic like your mental health being shot, boom, boom. You know what I mean? He's not necessarily there for that. He's there to really expand on how your career went from this to where you're at now. You know what I mean? So I thought he handled that very very well. Um, the other next note I mentioned how he described what it was like growing up in a small town in Iowa. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Go right ahead. Oh no, you're fine. No problem. Yeah, you were saying. I mean, sorry. These what you think about the Iowa take?
Oh yeah, but he only had there was only 1,000 people that stayed in that area. It was kind of crazy. That was kind
Man,
of crazy.
and what I found to be interesting was him talking about how rare it was for like people to like be like having interracial relationships. I was like, really?
Oh yeah, because he said
Yeah.
his what did he say? He said his stepdad is Italian or his father is Italian or something.
I think
Or
he
is it
said his dad.
Italian?
He said Hispanic. He said
That's
Hispanic.
what it was. Hispanic.
Um,
He said he didn't
but I
look at
think
it. He didn't get picked on at school or anything like that, but he didn't know that it wasn't a big deal
that's
until later
that is
on.
crazy. That's crazy, by
Yeah,
the way.
that is crazy.
That's crazy. It is because you rarely even hear that. You rarely even hear that. The moment you be told, hey, you with someone else that's not of your kind, bro, it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's
You know
crazy.
what I'm saying? Yeah, bro, but not for Seth Rollins. He had a blessing.
Yeah, was different. That was different.
My man ducked that curse. My man ducked that curse, bro. You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? So, I thought also. So he also said he has Hispanic in his blood. Also got some Armenian descent into his
Yeah, he was talking about his skin
lineage.
complexion. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's just yeah. But when you look at him on the surface, you don't think Steph is like Hispanic. You know, so when you talk to him, you don't think that with the way he talks
yeah,
in real time. You know what I mean? So I don't think
yeah,
he's like hugely like Mexican or. And I'm not even trying to be like that kind of dude. You know what I'm saying when I'm bringing this up, but like you wouldn't think he's Latino. You see what I'm saying? But there's definitely some aspects to his uh, makeup that you look at and go, he got something in him. You know what I mean? But you can't put you probably can't really like put your finger as to as to what it is basically. So there you go, man. Um, he later discovered through some sort of test he did with an app that he had more siblings on his father's side.
Oh yeah, that 33 and me.
That is
I mean that
crazy.
23 and me. Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember hearing about the information because that was during when I think that was like was that 2015 when that happened? I think that was during the time when Seth was doing the whole authority thing when he had found it out about that whole entire information.
Could have
Yeah,
been.
yeah, bro. So when that happened, I'm like, yo, man, like, could you imagine, like, say for instance, you didn't even know to your dad that you actually have siblings on his side. I mean, do you have that similar thing
No,
or
well, I got siblings on both sides, and I know them,
not
so
you?
it ain't no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom, not my mom's, but my dad, he actually got more kids with other women. So I got
Oh, okay.
probably 7, 8 half siblings I don't even know about. The only ones I know is only two. But he done had more babies. Oh yeah. I don't know about my other half siblings. I would love to know my other half siblings. But
Right.
essentially, like, why not know about your own family? You know, so that's always a thing. You always want to find a form of a deeper connection with those that you don't even know about for real. You know, I think that's very important. So, but the fact that Steph's dad don't want nothing to do, like from what Steph it was implying that he had nothing to do, he wanted nothing to do with Seth Rollins, must mean either him and his mom wasn't like. That's kind of weird though. Like you have a child with a woman, you don't really want to be a father towards your child, but you're going through years like doing what you want to do with other people, and you have more kids. How is you not allowing the idea of what's weighing on your mind of knowing you actually have a son out there and you want nothing to do with him whatsoever? I
That's
don't
a
get that.
fact. I don't
You
get
know
that
what I'm
either.
saying?
That's a different thing when you create a whole nother family like you didn't have a family beforehand. And just leave people behind
Yeah,
is kind of crazy. Yeah, it's different.
it is
It's different.
different. I don't know how you train your mind to think like I don't care. You should care. Ain't no way you go through all those years as a Steve Subar. Ain't no way you go through all those years thinking that it's like okay for me to do the rest of my life going without my son. I'll tell you this much: my dad. Now I'm not going to speak too much about his case, but what I can say is there were times where I can talk to him and I can already hear the guilt and the regret in his voice when he talks to me about what he
Hmm.
could have done, how he should have been this, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, yeah. And because I've lived enough life, I'm 25, I've lived enough life to know, like, sometimes it just is what it is, bro.
Right.
Life goes on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people don't, but, try telling that to people who are like, no, no, no. And they're just so gun ho about the idea of having to meet their what they would consider to be their maker, but God's really your maker. But no one want to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Everyone wants to
Right.
go into the no, like I need to meet my physical maker in the world, and so they really have a I don't know, just like resentment issues with that and abandonment. Abandonment I can understand way better,
Right.
but resentment I don't think you should carry that.
Yeah. I I
I don't think.
I mean, even as being a believer, at the end of the day, to even hold grudges on stuff like that would never elevate you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like we really have to forgive and we really have to move on from situations because a lot of times I was talking to Real about this, like
Mhm.
situations that he was going through. He was like, "Yeah, I could forgive, but I can never forget." And I was like, I
Mm.
get that, but you have to start forgetting because if you don't, what if God treats
Mm.
us like that and be like, yeah, I forgive you, but I remember what you did the other day. I remember how you was doing this the other day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we really gotta use that mindset to be like, yo, I forget, I forgive, and they was like,
Yeah.
well, how do you do it? And
Yeah.
the way you do it is pretend like it never happened. You
Yeah.
talk to that person and you treat that person like whatever they did that damaged you never happened. That's
Yeah.
the only way we could succeed and moving
Exactly.
on as far as forgiveness and things like that. Now, that's not an easy task, but if that's what God is asking us to do,
True.
that's something that we have to do, or that could be blocking our blessings. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times people say that we're not forgiving a person for them, we're forgiving a
Right.
person for us.
Right.
You're
Right.
forgiving that person for your own self. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah.
So whether Seth knows that that's what he's doing or not, that's just a good way to cope. Plus, you
Yeah,
just
man.
got,
It
like you
is a good
said,
way
he
to
got a
go.
lot of other family members, got a lot of other men that was in his life. Plus, you know what I'm saying, meeting the other siblings and things like that. And even telling the siblings things that they didn't even know. He was like, he told his sister some stuff that she didn't even know when she reached out to him
Yeah.
from the ancestry or whatever ancestry or whatever it's called, and then he called it 2023 and me. But yeah, he was like when he got a message from it, he was like he was giving her information that she didn't even know.
I thought it was hilarious that every time she kept looking up his information, she kept looking up Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, yeah, that's crazy.
I thought that was funny, you know what I'm saying? But hey, that just gonna show you like, hey, bro, like you got a fan of his brother. Like, yeah, this man is in WWE and he's killing it, blah blah blah. Like, wait a minute, that's Seth Rollins. Like,
Yeah,
y'all
that's
never
crazy.
knew that. And you probably could have already had seen Seth Rollins, but not necessarily again, not necessarily knowing like that's your brother. Like, could you imagine being like wake up the next day or morning and being like, wait a minute, I'm freaking out. Seth Rollins is my brother. You know, so it is interesting. Um, yeah, I'm in
Yeah,
agreement with you about the whole idea of having to go about forgiving, but never forgetting. You and God necessarily forget, but you don't want that forget to turn into I'll never forget you hurting me, or I'll never forget you making me bitter, or how much it really deeply impacted my mind. Because if you go into that route, what happens is, and I'm gonna agree with you because what can be scary and dangerous at that point in time in that situation is it can trigger your mind to go into I remember when I didn't have this, and I ain't never forgot when you made me fun of me for this, blah blah blah. Blah. So like, I ain't gonna forget you doing that towards me, but I have been willing to forgive. You can't have a bug right there. You just going to forgive. If you're gonna forgive wholeheartedly, you should think to yourself, it is what it is. It happened in the past. I gotta move on.
right,
Because again, your past does not define who you are. I got a song I wrote called "Don't Look Back." I can't wait to put it out when I get a chance to get in the studio. But the whole purpose is you don't want to look back. Your past does not define who you are in your present ever.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Like it can be your build up. Sure, you can talk about your stories. It's like anybody else's story. Life is a movie. You know, in a sense, it really is. So you can talk about that, but you ain't got to necessarily say I have to constantly live with that to where you can't escape. If you can't escape it, your mind is just not allowing yourself to grow.
right,
That's what it is. So I'm in agreement. And then spirituality, obviously, got to to God more about that too. That's
right.
very important. But anyways, um, another note. By the way, he also spoke to his father, even though again never met each other.
Yeah,
Um,
he said he talked to him on the phone like once or twice, but he asked him
yeah,
to meet up, and he never showed up.
right. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Um, Seth talked about how he got hit to professional wrestling. He watched it at the age of 5. BG, were you 5 years old when you watched wrestling too?
Tell you the truth, it's a possibility because I know my grandfather kept taking me to his son. What was his name? Dang, I forget what his name was. But we used to go over there all the time when Royal Rumble came on,
Yeah,
WrestleMania, Survivor Series. Now, mind you, this was back when you had to buy the pay per views, and the pay per views was between $39.99 and $69.99.
right.
Yeah,
Crazy,
yeah,
crazy, bro. Yeah, man. So he talks about like who he first came around, and he said, he's like, who was your favorite guy coming up? He said, well, over time I started to realize like it was Hulk Hogan, and he ain't lying. The thing that Seth Rollins was saying about what he said about Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, that dude was not lying, bro.
yeah,
Like Seth was I'll never forget the documentary that came out with Seth Rollins when he was a kid, and they showed video footage of him essentially like tackling wrestling buddies and making faces. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I remember he had Hulk Hogan and he had Ultimate Warrior. You know what I'm saying? Like on like left and his right shoulder. So, but then he went and got into some more about who his favorite wrestlers were. He talked about Shawn Michaels and he talked about Bret Hart.
Bret
And
Hart,
I'm like, I
and
love that.
he even gave kudos to Daniel Bryan, which is crazy.
Yup. I'm
And
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
and Jeff Hardy. You said Jeff Hardy too?
Yeah. Jeff Hardy too. Yup. Talk about Jeff Hardy. I can see a lot. You know, it's funny when Jeff Hardy teamed up with Seth Rollins that one night on Monday Raw with Finn Balor. I said to myself, Seth Rollins, when you read saying that's when you really look at him, he does give you Jeff Hardy vibes in a way.
Yeah,
He does give you. Like when I start seeing them team together, I said, "Oh yeah, this is Hardy, bro. This is freaking Hardy."
yeah,
And then yeah, some other things that happened. So yeah, bro, this is very true. Very true. Um, he played basketball, baseball, and football in his teenage years, but
yeah.
never truly fell in love with them over pro wrestling.
And he played soccer, but he stuck to soccer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he said he played soccer too, but he said he wasn't no good. Said he was good at basketball, but he was just sold on wrestling.
Yeah. Like he let you know he said he was fake mad or like, angry about it when he had told him like, "Yo, I'm going to pursue pro wrestling. I don't care what you guys say. I'm not doing this
Yeah,
sport."
the family
Right?
wasn't happy about
Yeah, they weren't happy about it as anyone would be. You know, tell your family you want to do something like professional wrestling. It's already crazy within itself.
it. Yeah,
Because people don't, because it's so foreign. People don't understand. People think doing sports or doing things like doctor or being a lawyer is more like the normal jobs for anyone to consider about. Not pro wrestling. Pro wrestling in a lot of people's minds is like an abnormal thing to do for a job,
mm,
which
yeah,
is understandable when you think about it for a second. Like very understandable. Because yeah, I mean, there's no much to be said. I love him using the analogy that pro wrestling in a lot of ways is like, you know, the idea of superheroes coming to life,
yeah,
and you can see them on television performing. Not
yeah,
lying. A lot of wrestlers have said that. He ain't the only one that said it before.
yeah. When
You agree?
he was saying, and that he was saying like, yeah, these are situations that you would never see. You'll always see like you'll see that the good guys really beating up the bad guys. The Legion of Doom coming out to beat up the people. You see Hulkamania coming out to beat up the people and stuff like that. But then he also was talking about the size, and he was just saying he was like, yo, everybody don't gotta be that size. He was like, everybody don't gotta be Hulk Hogan size or Big Show size or the Legion of Doom size. Uh, he said it was a thing when you seen Shawn Michaels,
Yeah.
200 pounds. I mean, 200 pounds, 6 foot. You had Bret
I
Him and
appreciate it. No, I
stuff
appreciate it.
like
Thank
that.
you.
When you had people on that part. So I was like, yeah. I mean, I was like, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. And then he was
Yeah.
saying like this is the time when you can actually see those superheroes win out of nothing. Like I used to say all the time, you see Ray. This is the this is the only sport where you can see Rey Mysterio going against the Big Show and actually can win.
Literally.
You know
Literally.
what I'm saying? He said he was having
Yep.
fun when he was fighting Brock Lesnar. It's the only time you can see. The time you see Seth Rollins in the ring with Brock Lesnar, if he
And
has to think he has an opportunity to win.
and here's the crazy part about this about you saying that. I remember the night Seth Rollins tore his knee when he faced Kane in that match of Jack and Dublin Ireland. He went out for like 9 months, I think, or six 9 months, I believe. He, if I'm not mistaken, Seth when he faced Kane after hurting his knee had to get back up and perform a spot against Kane.
Yeah,
Bro, that man even with a torn knee was able to lift Kane.
yeah,
Kane for a powerbomb through a dang on table. I'm like, that's Kane. I couldn't even lift Kane.
yeah,
I know I couldn't. That man's too dang on big. Ain't no dang
yeah,
on way. But he did it.
yeah,
And I don't know how he did it. Maybe it was some adrenaline. I don't know what came around him. But my point I'm
yeah,
trying to get at is Seth is not lying when he says, bro, low key it's impossible for me to face a Big Show. You know how big that guy is? And then when he said
yeah.
Big Show weighed about 450 pounds, I said, oh my
450
God.
pounds at that time.
I
Yeah.
said,
And
oh
he was
my
talking about
God.
going up to Mark Henry and all of that stuff. But he said that's why
Yeah,
it's so good with partnerships, man. Everybody knows what to do. Everybody knows their movements. Everybody knows all of that. So he was just saying how he would have fun when he's fighting the bigger guys because everybody just knew what he said. it'd be a time in the day that you just come in and Big Show just like, no, we're not putting you over today. No,
Yeah, man.
it's
Telling you,
me,
bro.
man. And you just gotta accept it
That's
because what you gonna say?
exactly, man. No joke. So, like speaking of favorite wrestlers, we said that Seth's favorite wrestlers from based off this interview. And also, I will also credit the documentary too. Seth's favorite wrestlers were Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Rob Van Dam, and Jeff Hardy.
Hey, Jeff Hardy, yep.
Yep, that's who he considered. He also did like Jeff Hardy. He also did backyard wrestling with his brother. Had videos recorded in spite of financial suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, and was
But
passing
I
out
love the
flyers
passion
at the
though.
school. And was
Yeah,
passing out
bro.
flyers at the school to tell people to come
Yep.
watch him and his brothers fight on the trampoline. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. I think at one point his names were. I think he went by the name of God. At one point he called himself God. Called
Yeah.
himself Jix. I believe the other name was Taj the Destroyer. Yeah. So like, yeah, but those were his names.
So he was
But
in
yeah, bro.
underground wrestling before,
He
well,
won.
not underground, but he was in underground wrestling for like 6, 7 years before he actually got a shot at the
Yes.
WWE. Yeah.
There you go, man. No problem.
I love his story that he explained about the Shield. I love the fact that he was open and honest that he didn't want to split up for the Dean or Roman. And he said, still to this day, people was like, "You the reason why the Shield don't work." And he like, "Bro, we've been wrestling for 20 years, bro. If you don't know that wrestling is fake by now, you tripping, bro. That's a story.
That's hilarious. That's
Yeah,
so funny.
that's a
That's so
story."
funny. That's so funny. Hold on, dude. 1 second. How we doing with the reshot? Reshot was good. Oh, you on tip now? Line up. It's crazy, man. But yeah, man, it is a story. But this goes back to us having those comments about Unreal. I'm gonna
Yeah,
stand by this. I'm gonna stand by it. I'm gonna stay stand by it to the point where people are going to have to just acknowledge that, hey, decide you're not lying. You're telling the truth. Well, essentially, I am telling the truth. There's no ifs or buts about it. I'm not lying about this. Like, y'all
yeah,
know wrestling is a show, bro. It's essentially like going to a circus event or going to like, bro, I've been to Hamilton County Mall, not Hamilton County malls. I've been to fairs, bro, where pro wrestlers were there to wrestle, and I had an opportunity to see it, like, in person. It obviously was no big WWE names, like they were like these like local guys. You know what I'm saying? And for what it's worth, it was absolutely fun. But I was there to support the show. We was cheering for the good guy, booing the bad guy. Knew who the bad guy was. They made it
yeah.
evident towards us. Like, okay, cool, great. Other than that, like, it's a show. Ain't nobody for real hate you for real. Like, oh, I hate this guy. I hate this whole town. You hate me for real? Great. I don't know what you hate me for. I don't even know you.
Right.
I'm just coming there as a fan. But anyways,
I love the part
um,
that he was talking about.
yeah,
I
man.
love the part that we was talking about when he turned his back on Roman Reigns. Well, he didn't want to do that, but
He didn't want to do it. They
he
all
said
didn't want
this.
to do it.
Yeah, they was like the only way that they was going to be able to do that is if they came to the show that night and didn't tell them till then. Because other than that, they would have
That
found a
was
way
so
to
messed up.
not do
That's
it. So I was like,
diabolical.
yeah, that is
That was,
diabolical.
bro, when he said that and like they didn't even know. Because you got to think, because I'll never forget how I felt about that. And this is how I felt, right? First of all, great heel turn. Great heel turn.
One
I'm
of
not
the
going to sit here and
best.
act
One
like
of the best
it's
ever.
arguably
Yeah,
definitely got to be in the top 10, top 20, bro. Like, that's just one of the best top. No,
yeah, one of
probably
the
in the top
best.
5. I'm probably even put in the top 5, really. But
Yeah,
at the time, what made that work was the Shield was one of the most popular things that was going on around that time. So you got to think. They just came off of turning from bad guys, heels who are hired mercenaries, to becoming, you know, henchmen of the authority, to becoming their own, like, no, we're going to go out here and disrupt shop, on everybody. If you get our way, we're going to kick your behind, right? And then that led to them facing Evolution. Which, by the way, that whole feud was great. Oh my
that was
God, man,
yeah,
that
that
feud
was
was
that was
fire,
that was
bro.
crazy. Them and
Man, the
them, yeah,
Extreme,
yeah.
bruh, Extreme Rules, Payback. Payback to me was my favorite. I love Payback, bro. Batista did a great job in that. Let me see. So when they have one of matches, you're thinking to yourself like, oh, there's no way this group is going to go ahead and just break up like that. Like we got to see what's going to happen with Seth and Dean and Roman going forward. In my mind, I'm thinking tag team champions one by somebody from the group is going to become world champion while the group remains, blah, blah, blah. So when Triple H came out and said, we have a plan B, there's always a plan B. And Seth Rollins took that steel chair and whacked Roman Reigns in the back with it. And Dean Ambrose had, like, his face, Dean Ambrose's face, literally had our face. We were all like, what the hell?
Right.
Wait a minute. What are you doing? And he beat down Dean Ambrose, beat down Seth, kept beating them down with the steel chair. I was like, what is freaking going on? And you can, and you know what's going back. If you go back and watch it though, you can tell Seth was hurt. He was hurting that whole entire time. He hated it, absolutely freaking hated it, because now what was ballsy and risky about that move around time, people gotta understand. Anytime the WWE wants you to break up, only one member out of the whole group may benefit greatly coming out of the whole group. That was always the case. But the Shield proved, no, everybody can succeed post breakup. They were the first group in WWE history, literally. Yeah. And so when that had happened, I'm like, okay, we in good hands. Reigns is good. Dean Ambrose is good. He's not left in the shuffle. Okay, Seth is good. Great. So they proved that, no, we're not going to just have them be pushed to the wayside and not get them into the World Title spot. They got to the World Title spot. And on top of that, the Shield was world champion all in the same night. No one's ever done that. No one.
Yeah.
They're the ghost for a reason. The ghost for a reason, bro. So,
it was dope how he explained. He was like, yo, the WWE wanted Roman to be the baby face the whole time. He had to turn heel. And then, because then he was explaining, they was like, well, Shannon asked him, which was a dope question. How do you?
I love that he made. Go ahead, BZ. Go ahead.
Who chooses the heel or the face? And he was like, it goes based off the fans.
Mm-hmm.
How the fans react to what you got going on is you'll know if you're a heel or not. And I was like, that's a fact. But to have a wrestler say it is just, it's crazy because behind his eyes, he'd be like, well, they come in as a heel, but then they go based off of what the fans say. And you know what I'm saying? And then that's why the fans really, you know what I'm saying? How he was talking about how Roman, when he went to that tribal chief character, and now he went from that to being the most global, best character in wrestling history now. But he had to go heel to actually get that turn.
Yes. And he said that the reason why that worked was because, and it's been, Seth said literally all I've been saying to you, and maybe even to Larry to a degree, for the longest of time. I'm not saying that you weren't saying it, but I'm just saying, like, I was saying that for the longest time. I'm like, bro, the whole, with all due respect, the whole big dog character was WWE's way of micromanaging the hell out of Roman to force him to feed to a lot of fans by saying, this is your babyface, accept him, and fans were not for it. Why? Because when you got a boss that's already behind you and you're pushed to the top, fans look at that as like, oh, so you're reserved for your spot to just always succeed. No one else can succeed over you. And that's why people cannot stand on Reigns, because everyone was like, we already know the outcome, you're going to always win. We hate that. We don't want to know the outcome. So if this man's your guy, and you're the guy for rich men, you ain't going to be able to, you'll always be our favorite, who's probably arguably better than you in the ring, or whatever the case may be, right? That's how our offense felt. But again, he said force feed. He said they force feed certain situations, and it didn't work. And he said, and it wasn't just Roman Reigns who went through that process. They did with Dan Bryan. Remember, the Yes movement was taking up, was hitting at a point in time. The man literally had a whole crowd of people in the ring with him, yesing, right? And all while that's happening, he's like, yo, they had a pivot with the direction of having him get his moment. And then they did it with Becky. And BZ, we were just talking about this, were we not?
Yeah.
That's the whole Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair situation. And how Becky, when she turned babyface, well, once she hit Charlotte, she's gonna get a pop. They were like, no, you're gonna be booed, you're gonna be a heel. We know what we're doing. And this proves sometimes the WWE gotta understand you don't always know what you're doing. Now, this is where I'm not saying Seth was being too nice about saying this, or maybe he just didn't keep in mind to say this outright. He's not lying when it pertains to the fans choosing whether or not you should be a babyface or heel. He's not wrong. However, BZ, from a point of view of your perspective, you didn't want to boo Seth Rollins when it came to the division.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
But why was that? The fans weren't booing Seth Rollins around the time.
No.
So why would you go ahead and turn heel around the time, join the division, and be with Paul Heyman? So when you're bringing that up to me, I have to question, like, yeah, that's true, but we didn't want to see you go back to being a heel again, bro.
Exactly. And what are you going to be when you come back? Because right now, just like somebody said in the comment section, it was like, this ain't nothing but the promo. This is Seth Rollins' promo run before he returns. But when he returns, he's not
Literally.
turning. It doesn't look like he's coming back as a heel.
Yeah, I got you.
He come back as a
No
face
problem.
again.
Yeah. He's coming back as a
Mm.
face, bro. He's
Yeah,
coming back
I
as a
just
face.
think,
I don't see the idea of him
and
being
the
a heel
way he
again.
was explaining, he said it's definitely, which we
Yep.
all know, he definitely said it's easier to be a heel because you have more leniency to do
Literally.
whatever. He said being a face, you got to know a lot more. You got to be good on your promos. You can't stumble on things and stuff like that. You don't have more leeway, but as a heel, you have more leeway because you can mess up. People can boo you. You can go against them, and you can do all of that. It's just easier to be a heel.
A babyface is like going to high school and saying to the popular crowd, please accept me, please give me your attention, please like me.
Right.
Essentially what babyface is a basically an old high schooler coming to the fans saying, I need you to like any and everything I do.
Right.
Whether that means me talking, it means me wrestling, that means my character, my promos, how I do catchphrases, my uniform. I need you to accept me. And bad guys are like, I don't care if you accept me one way or another. I'm gonna beat to my own drum. I don't care.
Right.
But while Seth Rollins was talking about babyfaces and good guys, what I felt was very interesting. He talked about how Hogan was like the ultimate good guy and how he saw certain wrestlers being that good guy character. And I just kept questioning in my mind, I'm like, yeah, but why do you work so bad as a bad guy than you do as a babyface?
Right.
Why? Why do you think that is for him, BB?
I don't know.
Why do you think Seth Rollins works better as a babyface than he does as a heel? Because a lot of people say
I
a
think
lot of
that
people listen to that.
I think like what Seth Rollins said, even though heels can do it as well too, I just think that the the experience, him going to school for talk, or what's it called, for what did he go to school for talking, for what is it,
Acting. He was for
social
acting.
something like
He
that.
said
I think,
acting.
yeah, oh yeah, for acting, for all of that stuff. Like, he, like what, like, like being a heel. It's kind of like what he explained with Roman. He was like, bro, that's almost who Roman is. So you're not really acting for real.
Right.
It almost attached to who he is as a person for real. Even though he is acting, it's still more to who he is as a person than anything. And I think that Seth Rollins is a person that's really an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I think heel will
Yes.
really come easy to him, but I think
Yes.
him being a baby face is so good because of his acting ability. And Seth Rollins is, except like you said in the interview, he's not really about the movies. He's really about the WWE. He's really about
Right.
being a part of wrestling. So he ain't
Right.
trying to be a movie star or nothing like that or whatever, whatever. Either
One
trying
thousand
it or
percent.
whatever. He's just like, nah,
It's not.
I'm
It's not
cool.
him.
You know what I'm saying? Even when the spot when
Yeah.
he said that he could have been in the Captain America joint, but they actually took that part out. I'm glad that they
It was
spoke on
funny.
that.
He said film. He said film everything. He said they literally filmed everything, and they were just like, well, we're gonna go in a different direction. We're not liking it. That's crazy,
Yeah,
by the way. Maybe because he
yeah. I'm
didn't
glad
move
he
so
even brought
closely.
that up because remember that was a
Yeah,
rumor that he wasn't even in
because
it.
we were saying that, and
Yeah,
they were
it was
films
like,
that
bro,
it came
he's
out about
done
Seth
it.
Rollins wearing the uniform. Yeah, we all saw that. Literally,
Yeah, but yeah,
it
yeah.
was
But he
interesting.
was in it. They just pulled that part. I'm like, oh dang, it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah,
But he
man.
said it wasn't like no big deal. Like they let him know ahead of time and blah blah blah. And, I
Yeah,
mean, it would have been cool to see him in the movie. Anthony Mackie, boom, blah blah blah. And I think later down the road he might do movies. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
right.
But at the same as that time, given what he said, if I'm Seth, I mean, I can't be.
I'm
He ain't
cool.
lying when he says he cool with it because who wants to do all that weighing to know whether or not you did a good job?
Yeah, it's too
Like
much. It's
the
like
way he
the weight
described it,
game is too much. Yeah.
yeah, bro, that process is weird. So like, he's like, nah, bro, I'm the kind of guy I want to get in and get out. You know what I mean? Not keep having to, boom, boom. So it makes sense. It makes complete sense for why he is the way he is and why his mind's wired the way it is. But yeah, man, very interesting take over that. Um, what was I going to mention? I'm glad you brought that up too. Um,
Well, might as well mention the elephant in the room.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm shocked. I knew it was
Okay.
business, but I am
Okay.
shocked that Seth Rollins and CM Punk really ain't cool still. I'm shocked.
Uh,
And from what Seth
yeah.
Rollins is saying, it's something
Yeah.
that CM Punk has to fix. From what Seth is
Yeah.
saying, that's from what he's saying. He said, "Oh, we
Yeah.
had a friendship." He said, we had a friendship, this, and this." But at the end of the day, what I got from Seth was it was never no beef, never no animosity.
What's up,
I just
sister?
ran into a problem with the fact that you start doubting the company that I was making money for.
Well, that's right. But you've already said that before. No, you did.
Yeah,
No, you've literally already said it before. Here was my issue with that whole CM Punk thing, right? Here's my whole issue with that CM Punk thing, and this is just me. This is my opinion, okay? First of all, I'm gonna say this right now. For any wrestling fan that was believing any, can you hear me?
yeah,
And for any wrestling fan that was believing any and everything that was being said about Seth Rollins throughout that whole interview, I'm gonna tell you right now, as far as like what you said about Punk, I'm gonna tell you right now, Seth Rollins is a genius. That man is pulling off a work of the century.
yeah. He still
The,
ain't done with
he,
it.
he went from talking about the heights of the century to the roots of the century. That man is pulling off the work of the dang on century to this day. Because you think about it for a second. Every time Punk's doing an interview, they want to bring up Seth Rollins. Every time Seth Rollins doing an interview, they want to bring up Punk, right? Why?
Yeah,
The meme, and I'm thinking to myself, you gotta think about it like this: it's behind the scenes, it's publicly, fans are eating this up. They want to see them feud all the time. People sometimes love conflict. They just love conflict. And I love how Shannon asked him, he's like, well, come on, man, like you can't just be for him forever, blah, blah, blah. He said, no, man, conflict sells, blah, blah, blah. Like, I gotta make my money. We gotta make money. People ain't trying to
yeah.
see this, blah,
Fact.
blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah. So when he
yeah,
said that, I said to myself, wait a minute, he's lying.
yeah,
because and here's why how I can tell he's lying. Here's how I can tell he's lying. And at some I was like, and I believe what Seth was saying was genuinely truth. Yes, he had an issue with Punk over this, that, X, Y, and Z. But the fact that you keep saying the same thing over and over again without mentioning, like, okay, because he said, how come you still ain't getting along with him? He
right.
said, well, Punk he didn't do his part, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it sounds to me, you and him have already done your part. Because y'all worked a lot since Punk has gone away. Sorry, not gone
Mhm.
away, but back to WWE. So because of that, I have to think, y'all not beefing. Y'all not
Ain't
beefing.
no way.
I don't think they're necessarily best friends, but I don't think they're necessary like literally hating each other. I just think Punk is great at understanding attention, grabs, and he does too. So the more I can crap on Punk, the more Punk can crap on Seth. Attention. There is
The
no real
reason,
animosity between those guys.
the reason why I think that they don't have no beef is because their wives are working together.
See, there you go.
If
And
there's
right,
really animosity, ain't nobody in the family rocking with nobody else in the family.
exactly.
It ain't gonna be
And
because you still gotta talk to him and all of that stuff. So you telling me that
exactly.
AJ Lee's not talking to Seth Rollins at all when Becky Lynch is not around and all that? Like, come on, we can't do that. There's no way.
And, exactly. And hold on, Peter. And Becky, on top of that, has worked with Seth in the ring. She got in front of Seth. Sorry, that's not around worked in front of Seth. She worked in front of Punk in the ring. She had an opportunity to smack Punk. They let that
Yeah,
happen on live television. And then on top of
yeah,
that, Becky in her book talk about how AJ Lee inspired her. People
yeah,
forget that. This is prior to when she even like did a few. So like people forget, like if you read her book, she talks about how AJ Lee at a time, like when she was on top, she was nowhere on her level yet. She was back in NXT. So look how things have kind of like played out and come full circle. There's no issue with each other. I think Seth did have an issue with him initially in 2023, and then somehow, some way in 2024. But I think they manifested by 2025. I think by 2025 is when Punk and Seth Rollins realize, let's just take this up to another ante. I'm gonna come at you about your wife. You're coming at me about me as a person. You call me a cancer. I'm gonna call you this. I'm gonna say you're goofy. You're gonna say I'm this. They realize that them going against one another is money. Now, what I would love to see, because Seth is going to go back to being babyface, I would love to see. Now, this is just me. As a fan of both men, I would love to see CM Punk and Seth Rollins. You want to talk about hell like freezing over. Imagine CM Punk and Seth Rollins teaming up in a tag team match. Strange bedfellows. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. I don't think there's real animosity between them. I do think there's still some issues regarding one another, but not to the extent of like, oh, I hate this guy.
I think towards the end or sometime soon we'll get the CM Punk and the Seth Rollins. We'll get the Bret Hart and the Shawn Michaels.
They're Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. They're the Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels of the generation for sure.
Yeah, you'll get the apology later on down the line. You might not get it now, but
they are definitely the Bret and the Shawn.
Yeah, you might not get it now, but you'll get the apology later.
1,000 freaking percent. They're not. They're like the Bret Hart and the Shawn Michaels of the 2020s.
Yeah, they work together, but at the same time, they quote unquote got animosity for situations or whatever. But it all get fixed. It'll all get fixed later on.
It will. Look, CM Punk manifested with AJ Styles, and they didn't even get along.
Right.
Think about that for a second. But now this man over here giving AJ hugs, talking about "love you, brother." You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Celebrating Cena. Like, Punk didn't get along with Cena for. There were times when him and Cena didn't get along. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are. It's a family for real. It's like going to work, dealing with your brothers and your sisters, your coworkers every single year. You're working with them every year throughout the whole year. At some point, there's no other choices but for you and him and her to like just really put things to bed.
Yeah.
And I think Punk's different from how he was back then. I think Seth's different from how he was back then. I think Punk's issue back then was more of, I just really feel like you guys don't treat me as if I'm that guy for real. And I'm kind of like paving the way for guys like Seth Rollins to somewhat be that guy. So in a way, Seth Rollins low-key owes Punk a thank you. Because if it wasn't for guys like him to a degree, I don't think Seth Rollins would be able to, like, not that he wouldn't be able to achieve success already as it is on a solo run, but guys like that like Punk probably would never have made it to WWE at their top if they didn't really vouch for how talented they really were.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bro. So, that's in a way, yep, paid away from him. And he confirmed to Punk about what Punk said last year. He said about him training him in Chicago and how he called him little brother. Like, yeah, he confirmed it. So, like, man, come on, bro.
Right.
They're not beefing. They're not beefing, bro.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe it. He did go to college. He worked part-time jobs. Respect. I can relate to a degree. Joey Mercury's a friend as well as a mentor to him. He turned down TNA to sign a contract with WWE. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I remember. But he said they was gonna owe him. They was gonna pay him way more than WWE was offering. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why that was because they didn't want WWE. They didn't want WWE to quote unquote create him.
Yeah.
But he went with what fit him the best. And again, you got enough or choice to respect that. He said him and Dean had built a following through social media.
Oh yeah.
Yup. That's a fact. They were killing it on the indies.
Roman was green, so he was just along for the ride.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think Roman either left football or he got cut from football. I think he got cut. And so because he got cut from playing football, he had to join the same business. He went ahead and decided to join the business of pro wrestling. That's what happened. So he didn't have I wrestle with this company, that company, boom, boom, boom. Seth and Dean did. You know what I'm saying? That's why they were just really, popular because they had built a following from where they wrestle at. Yep. He has a wrestling school with his former tag team partner, Merrick Brave.
That's fire.
That is fire. Seth met this man in passing during the Shield's debut.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
How
yep.
Vince McMahon took the curse stomp from him after he won the championship is
Yeah,
crazy.
is that is?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was when he won the world title from Brock and Roman, right?
Brock and
WrestleMania
Roman,
31.
yeah. That
Yep.
WrestleMania. Yep.
Yeah, he said the curse. Now I read up something about the curse and actually refers to people. When you look it up, it's actually pretty graphic. I don't want to like watch it or anything like that. But basically, it's like this idea of like people locally actually die from getting a curse stuck to a certain body part of their body. I forget how it's described, but they took that
Oh
away because they
wow.
wanted to avoid legal trouble. And that's why this man was like, Seth, I can't have you do no more. I'm sorry, bro. Blah blah blah. They called it curse, and we're gonna call
They
it
said it took
stuff.
him months before he found the finisher. That's crazy.
Yeah, he
So
had
he
to
was
tag.
just beating
Yeah,
people
I remember.
regularly with no finisher. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, it's true. I mean, he did for a while. He did the pedigree, which made sense. 'Cause he's with Hunter without 40. Then he ended up doing the Here, hold on. You don't got the. Oh, you got it. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. Hold on. Car coming through. But they did the I'm trying to remember. Yeah, he did a pedigree for a time. He did a spinning. Who's that? You know who that is? Okay. He did a spinning knee shot maneuver to Samoa Joe. He was doing like all kinds of different maneuvers around time before he can finally figure out what kind of move he want to do. And then they ended up giving him back to stuff. But then they said they can't call it the curse off for legal reasons. And
Right.
that's what ended up happening. So that's why they call it just the stuff. Me personally, I'm still calling it the curse off. I'm sorry.
Right.
It just works. I'm used to it. I'm not used to just calling it the stuff. To me, that's just boring and lame. Heck, you know. But anyways, um, what? He said that signature moves are very important.
Yeah, they're
Have
very
your favorite
important.
maneuver because that's how the eyes connect with you and they can tell the story alongside with you about when someone's gonna win or blah blah blah. I like that too.
Yeah.
Injuries were explained. Talk about like going through injuries, what it's like for them to go through injuries, and how it's not ballet. And he said that Javon Evans recently had concussion.
You don't remember that?
I
Remember
thought
they
it,
called that when they called him man? I thought he
yeah,
messed his hand up or
I
something.
thought I thought it was his shoulder.
I
I
did
know
too.
that
He
he
did with
hurt
the
his head.
concussion.
Yeah. So he said he had a concussion, but I'm like, well, for a guy who had a concussion, you sure did come back very quick. Like, bro, concussion ain't no
I
joke,
remember
man.
that.
Yeah,
Yep, I
unless he had
remember
like some
that
sort of mild
when they
concussion.
called the match. I'm like, what is Javon Evans doing? I remember when they called the match. But he was holding
Yeah,
on to his wrist or something. I was like, oh, so he must have got injured. I'm like, but no, it was a concussion the whole time. I'm like, wow.
that's crazy. I don't think it was. He might be right, but I can't see the idea of you coming back after having a minor. If it was minor, it was minor. But why would you still come back after about a week or two?
Yeah.
Because usually when a concussion happens, people take months before they can fully recover with that. So that I didn't understand. I'm like, I think he might have just
Well,
got his bell rung.
in football, if you get a concussion, you can't play the next week, so it's only a 2 week situation.
Was he off for 2 weeks?
I don't remember how many weeks he was out.
Hmm.
Yep, I don't even remember.
Well, he came back,
But
seemingly three times.
normally it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. I might add. Oh, he said shots can happen to wrestlers, so receipts will come.
Oh
So he's like,
yeah,
if a
that was
wrestler's really
good.
hitting you, you gonna get receipt. You know what I'm saying? Like, those things do happen, bro. And they ain't no joke. They not no joke for sure. Um, then we get to Seth's Mount Rushmore of draws. I want to see if you agree with this, BZ, because I've been wanting to get to this for about a minute. Now, the Mount Rushmore of draws. He said Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock. Do you agree?
That's his top four.
That's his top five.
Hold on, top five wrestlers of all time. Forget what he said.
He said, well, hold on, 1, 2, 3. No, he said four. He only said four
Yeah, he
for
only
Mount
said
Rushmore.
four. What all time though?
For Mount Rushmore of draws, for like being wrestling draws,
Oh,
not
draw.
wrestlers.
I know
Yeah.
Stone Cold was a draw. I know Hogan was a draw.
When he said Rock, I'm like, was he really a draw?
Who?
He said the Rock was a draw.
Oh yeah, Rock was definitely a draw.
Okay.
He was the most electrifying. But I think that I can't really say Rock was a draw because of the fact that he was in there when Stone Cold was there. That don't count. I can see it
Yeah, that's
because
what I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, how was he a draw?
Stone Cold made a draw when Rock wasn't even. It didn't. We didn't even need Rock. Stone Cold was doing that without him.
Unless he drew when Arthur had took that leave. Remember when he decided to leave WWE for a little while? That's what I'm guessing. Is when Rock became a draw.
Oh yeah, you can say that.
You could probably say that. I don't know for sure how accurate Rock being a draw. That's just say he wasn't a draw whatsoever, or he couldn't have had so a fair view on his own. But I'm just curious, like, how much of a draw was he really? It's interesting though. Then he said his Mount Rushmore of wrestling or any performance. Give me 1 second. Is that?
Yeah.
He said Mount Rushmore of in-ring performers. He has to go with Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
He said A. Guerrero,
Yep.
Dynamite Kid. That's Dynamite Kid. Bret Hart, Ric Flair.
Is that
He
Daniel
said Ric
Bryan?
Flair, Dan Bryan, and AJ Styles. Huge,
Uh-huh.
huge, bro. That was dope. Now, do you agree? Do you agree?
I think he missed out on. He put his name. He put himself in there, which I agree.
Yeah, of course. He got to be putting. He got to put something there.
I think he missed out on Bob Backlund and Gunther though, even though it's early. I think he missed out.
I think if you want to talk about technical wrestlers, Bob Backlund is definitely in the Mount Rushmore.
Facts.
Technical wrestlers, he got to be in the Mount Rushmore. 1,000%.
Facts.
He got to be. Got to be. Let me see another one. Let me see. Seth. Oh, we were talking about Punk. Okay. Did he? What? I didn't really see how much he is spending on how he answered the question about working with Brock Lesnar. Like, what did you take away from that?
Um, he said he liked working with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, he said he liked working with him because he was talking about the size and having an opportunity to be able to fight somebody of that size in this type of arena, knowing that I have an opportunity to win. You know what I'm saying? To be like, yo, Seth Rollins. That's when he started listing like the Rey Mysterio versus the Big Show and stuff like that. Like this is the only arena that you'll be able to do that and actually see opportunities. That like you'll be like, yo, I might get a chance, or the fans might be like, yo, I can show them that I can run with the best of them, even though it's because of the WWE and not because of UFC. It's a different situation. The UFC.
Yeah. Speaking of UFC, we detailed the hard process for Ronda Rousey's career in the WWE.
Wow.
Beezy, your thoughts?
Wow. I mean,
Steph comment.
when he explained it, and he didn't even sugarcoat it. He was like, yeah, I didn't expect her to last long anyway. I was like, dang,
Yep.
why? And then when he was explaining that, you know what I'm saying, they got to be on the road. Rhonda got kids. He on the road for 215 days, or fighting for 215 days. They're on the road for 300 days. He was just like,
Yeah.
Rhonda just didn't have that drive like that to do it. It's a lot of work at being a WWE
Yeah.
wrestler compared to a UFC wrestler. And he said that the
Yes.
WWE was playing to her likeness, playing to her schedule, and it still wasn't working for her. So it was just like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't gonna work for her.
Yeah. I love the honesty that he should and the transparency that he was able to like converse about that with
I agree.
Shannon. And what he was basically saying was like, it's not that she couldn't take to the sport. he said that her doing it continuously was the problem. She didn't like having to work. It's kind of like with Brock Lesnar back in the day when Brock when he was with WWE back in the day. He didn't like the idea of being on the road all the time,
Yeah.
right? He figured being home would be okay. He can just do this and do that. He hated being on the road. Why? Because you're always at risk of getting hurt. You're always at risk of getting injured. You're basically you're basically having to work hurt. There's no telling if you're taking drugs around time to
Right.
amend your pain. You see what I'm saying? So like he just didn't want to be on a road like that. He figured, and Brock was very limited as to what he could do. Not saying Brock was not great, but he wasn't I'm gonna do this move and do that move kind of guy. He wasn't that guy, right? So with Ronda Rousey, her thing was, listen, I know what works for me, but if you're expecting me to go right here, and you gotta think people were really giving her a hard time. People were saying she sucks in the ring, she's garbage, her promos were terrible. Which, by the way, we have been on the record and said that before in the past. I'm not gonna lie, but besides that, she had a lot of the what's the old saying, the short hand of the stick. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just it just didn't work out for her. You know what I'm saying? And we have Chris out here. We have not been nice to Ronda. But you know what I'm saying. If she does come back, I hope she's able to redeem herself and probably do better. I think to a degree you have to care. If you can't come into pro wrestling with enough care, it's not going to work out. It's just not.
Right.
And I think that's the reason why she didn't work out in the end, because she didn't have enough care in her heart for WWE like that. She cared more about what she wanted to do for herself. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
Now he played it very. Now I will. Another thing I will say about Seth, he played it very safe and very respectful towards Ronda. Becky did not hold back. You see what Becky said about Ronda?
Yeah.
Bro, Becky was like, she didn't sugarcoat it. She said Ronda's not a good wrestler.
Right.
She said she was never good. They good. Like Becky was brutal with her assessment about Ronda, but
Yeah.
Seth, he kept it real cool. Respect though, respect.
Yeah.
And he had a heart for her and said that she was just trying to grind, and the grind is just too hard. It is what it is. He did praise the Bad Bunny match against Damian Priest and Puerto Rico, which, by the way, that match was fire. What do you think about that match? Looking back on it.
Yeah. Well. I mean,
You not feel that?
Ronda. Everybody wasn't really a big fan. I mean, when Ronda first came to the WWE, when
Oh,
she
you're going back
body
to Ron. Okay, you're going
slammed,
back to Ron.
I don't think it was Triple H. Who was it that she body slammed? Was it Triple H or Kurt Angle? Who was it that she body slammed
She body slammed.
when she first
Yeah, I think it
came?
was Hunter. I think it was Hunter.
Was it
Yeah,
Triple
yeah, it
H?
was Hunter. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
because it was
tables.
her and The Rock on
Yeah,
the same team. It was her and Rock together. Everybody was
right.
happy for that little moment. For that little moment, because that's something that we was waiting to see. We haven't seen it in a while or as ever. You know what I'm saying? So it was whatever. But ever since that time, nobody really even cared about her even being there. To be honest, and she was being pampered. If we want to talk about other wrestlers that we claim to be pampered, she was probably the most pampered in the WWE. But to actually be gone from the WWE and then talk down on it after they pampered you the whole time is beyond crazy.
It is.
Every time you hear her talking about the WWE, she's always destroying.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, she had her little stint, but that's it. No, ain't nothing else.
hmm Yeah. I was asking that about the home entire Bad Bunny match with Damian Priest in
Oh, the
Puerto
Bad
Rico.
Bunny. I mean, for Bad Bunny, quote unquote, in everybody's mind, being the best artist in the world, to actually do a street fight with Damian Priest, one of the good wrestlers in the WWE, and actually put on
Yo,
a
Zach,
match like
hit the
that,
mic, right?
you can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at what Bad Bunny did in that match.
Yeah.
That was a dope moment. And I gotta say, I gotta shout out Seth Rollins for shouting out Logan Paul
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Cats better stop. Cats better put respect on Logan Paul's name.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to.
I agree. I agree. And Logan Paul may be the best celebrity turned wrestler that the WWE has ever had
Yeah,
to
that's a
begin
fact.
with in the first place. There's
That's
no
a
like I'm
fact.
sorry, like listen, and I'm not even doing this to be oh you're a Logan Paul Glazer. Bro, you reaching Logan Paul's all that great, blah 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 blah. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying or claiming anything to be hold on, BB, give me 1 second, right quick. Hi Sharon.
How are
I'm good.
you?
How are you? How are you?
Good. I had my second surgery
You
yesterday.
did?
Yes.
Okay. How
Yes.
you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah?
I just told her, the doctor told her, as soon as you go under from where you
Mhm.
dislocated it,
Mhm.
I'm going to shove it back in.
There you go.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Of
I
course.
got something to look forward to.
Yes, you do. We're praying for you.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah.
How's your mom and grandma?
She's good. My mama, my grandma called me the other day. She's a little in pain. She had her surgery a little bit, but she's fine. They're doing her some physical therapy.
I'm praying.
You know, saying thank you. I
I'm
appreciate it.
praying.
Thank you.
I'm glad your
Yeah.
mom's doing
Yeah. She's gonna be home. My grandma's gonna be coming home next Monday. Yep. There you go. Thank y'all. But yeah, BZ. Yeah, the Logan Paul is he is still a hell of a talent, bro.
Yeah,
Hell of a talent.
he's a yeah. No, I mean that he's when you're getting respect from somebody like Seth Rollins, you gotta respect that. You gotta respect that. That's there. Like, you know, him
You know
pointing
you
out
do.
Logan Paul, pointing out Bad Bunny. I mean, he could have said Snoop Dogg. He could have said anybody that normally came in, but he said those two because those two are the ones that literally shake the building up when they come back when it comes to wrestling.
Mhm.
And what you call it too? The commentator, my boy, Paul, Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
Yeah, him too.
that could be too. Um, what did you think about Seth's comments regarding celebrities coming into pro wrestling? Because
He said he don't
BZ,
got a problem with it.
let's just be honest. You have not always been the fan of that happening in professional wrestling. You have gone on record to been out to me personally that you did not like the idea of Snoop Dogg being involved with WWE.
But you see, the Seth Rollins ain't saying nothing about Snoop Dogg. He only
He
mentioned
didn't.
people that
He
matter.
didn't.
That's what I said. That's what I mean.
But
Like
he,
people that
yeah, but
matter.
he
Bad
mentioned,
Bunny mattered. Logan Paul
yeah.
mattered. Mike Tyson mattered. People that matter. That matter. But
Hmm.
Snoop, you just there just to be there. Like you was on the
Hmm.
Olympics the other day. You don't need to be here because you ain't doing nothing that makes sense.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to celebrities, if it makes sense, just like he was like, oh well, ISO speed, he's never coming back after that spear. He's not coming back ever. But you wasn't built for this in the first place. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't built for this in the first place. You wasn't really thinking of, oh man, this would be an opportunity for me to be a wrestler type deal. You wasn't even really looking at it like that compared to Bad Bunny or Logan Paul. You know what I'm saying? Because now when you look at you, only person that you look at from a celebrity standpoint to be a WWE wrestler now is Bad Bunny. Because Logan Paul, you legitimately look at him as a real WWE wrestler. You don't even look at him as a entertainer that comes into wrestling. Out of everything
Yes.
that he's done, he don't get that entertainer title no more. You get a WWE superstar. That's what you get.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when you bring people in like that, it makes sense. But if you just bringing
Right.
people in just because you want ratings up, or you want, or they just want some money in their pocket type deal, like Snoop and stuff like that, it's like, whatever. Why are you even
We
here?
know what you're doing. We know the intent of what you're doing.
Exactly. It was like, all right, well, oh, Snoop Dogg will be here, or Cardi B will be here. I'm like, okay, y'all just trying to draw. Y'all trying to get a draw. I ain't worried about them in no match. But if you hear something about Bad Bunny coming, he's probably gonna start a beef with somebody and they gonna fight. You hear something about Jelly Roll coming, he's gonna start a beef with somebody and he's gonna fight. You hear something about Kittle for the 49ers, just like you said, when he retired, he's probably gonna have one or two matches with the WWE because of how much of a fan he is, and he has the build to do it. And
Right.
when we see that happen, we're not going to be like, oh, that's whack. No, that's somebody who actually was in a contact sport that crossed over to WWE. Roman Reigns did the same thing. The Rock did the same thing. There's other people that did it.
Hmm.
That played in the NFL and switched over to come to the WWE. That's different than you being a rapper and then you switched over to being in the WWE. I'm like, nah, bro, nah, you're not a wrestler, bro.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's it. And the only person that did it properly was Bad Money.
So your thing is, if you're just coming in there to play, get away.
Yeah, like I mean, that's playing with somebody's top. I'm not an actor, and I go to write things to become an actor, and you're on stage and you've been there for 4 years, and I take your position, and I don't even act. You're gonna be like, bro, how does this person even get an opportunity? He didn't go to
Yeah.
school to do this. Why is he even getting an opportunity? It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like Snoop didn't come to
Yes,
school.
that's so true.
Snoop didn't go to wrestling school, but yet he gets to go on stage and do whatever he wants with the wrestlers. I'm like, no, bro, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Snoop Dogg had an interview with Undertaker. He was just like, "Yeah, me and you, I like for me and you to have a tag team match at WrestleMania."
And
You know,
Undertaker is probably
so
letting them know.
like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. But he said, "Oh yeah, we should do it now." Blah, blah, blah. And he even told him about Paul Bear and things like that, blah blah. But anyways, but yeah, I'm in agreement. Speaking of crossover appeal, um, he mentioned about how John and Rock both had the idea, not necessarily wanted to actually pursue a career of acting, but they ended up falling in love with it just as much as they did pro wrestling. Why do you think Seth Rollins? Now I get his reasoning and I understand what his purpose is, and it's simple on the surface. Why do you think, in his mind, he feels he's not built to be no actor, like from crossing over from doing pro wrestling to doing acting long term?
Um, Me personally, I think Seth Rollins is so much of a family man. He don't want to go through that.
Mm, mm,
Like he likes the role of being a father. He likes the role of being a husband. He likes the role of picking his kids up from school. When you're an actor, you don't get to do that much. You're in a business right now where your wife and your daughter can go with you wherever you go all the time because
mm.
your wife does the same thing that you do. When you come to acting, if she becomes an actor and you become an actor, y'all both not gonna be in the same movies, which means somebody gonna be all the way over here and you gonna be all the way over there. And the baby is gonna be with the babysitter or with the mom now because the mom moved out there. But I think Seth Rollins really is big on family. So
Mm.
I don't think that it has anything to do with his acting ability because I think he's acting great. You see him in the WWE, but I think he's real locked in on the WWE and taking it to another level. He's not really worried about the acting thing because you have people outside. You have the Romans, the Miz's, John Cena's, and all of them. They don't need to find somebody else to do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think
Seth
Seth
Rollins,
Rollins want to
yeah.
be. I don't want to. I don't think Seth Rollins want to be one of those ones that's not like the Rock and them. Like, oh, here you go. You only pop up when need be, or once a week, or once every 2 months. I think Seth Rollins is one of those loyal, faithful people that would be there consistently all the time until he retires.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. That makes a lot of sense when you think about that. When you think about like
Yeah.
that too, like that's so true. Like especially if somebody's like coming up and they want to be like, bro, Seth Rollins is my dream match to have at WrestleMania, blah blah blah. I would love to wrestle him, and boom, and then Seth is away doing a movie for like the whole year. Like, yeah, it does make you feel some type of way of like, bro, when will he ever be like available? You know what I'm saying? I like to work with him. You know what I'm saying? But he's not gonna be
Right.
like after. And so yeah, that makes sense. Which tells me at the end of the day, Seth Rollins is a wrestler's wrestler. Like he's
Exactly.
professional wrestling all across the board. He's not professional wrestler and actor and this and that. He's like, no, I want to navigate just one thing that I'm really good at. I've really taken the time to really hone in my craft at. I don't want to do anything else, which is understandable. Understandable.
Yeah.
Like even me, like even when I think about some more, I don't even think of the idea of Seth Rollins becoming a manager in pro wrestling. I can't picture that. I can't see Seth Rollins being a manager for someone else, right? Can I see Seth Rollins being a general manager? Yes, when his career is done, right? Can I picture Seth Rollins doing what Triple H is doing now with WWE or Shawn Michaels, yes, I can see them doing that. I could. Could you see that or no?
I could see him running. I could see him being the general manager. I could see Becky Lynch running the women's division. I could see it,
I love that.
especially if their daughter decides to be involved in it, because he said that the women's division is starting to become way better than what it was when Jerry Lawler and them was there. When all he was doing was bra and panties matches and stuff like that, or whatever. When
He
it's
said that
really
was
being what
awful.
it is now. When it being what it is now, it's like it is a good business for my daughter to be involved in it. If she decides to be involved in it, he can back her. Plus, he can be there, and Becky Lynch can be there.
I thought it was funny when he was like, he said those bronze pain matches and Jerry Lawler having an old commentary and yell out puppies.
Yeah,
He said it was all awful.
I love man. That jump was amazing. I don't know what he tripping on. That jump was dope. That was
You
back when
loved it?
Sable was.
He
Hey, that's
said
back
he
when
said it was
Sable was
awful.
there.
He said he hated it.
That's back when Sable was there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get
Them,
why Seth thought what comment where it was saying that was awful because in a way it did limit women to what they couldn't do compared to the men. However, it was a different time back then. You know what I'm saying? It like in a way those women still paved the way. People forget like you had your wrestling female managers around that time and they were killing it for a while.
yeah,
And you had a few wrestlers that were doing the wrestling thing, sure, but it wasn't like how it is now where you're like, bruh, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, blah, 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 blah. Like, you're not naming 20 different women who can wrestle. You're not naming that in the 90s or the 80s. And if you were, you probably were naming that outside of WWE. Because that was probably the only thing it actually ever existed. Other than that, no.
right,
So, like, when it comes to the idea of him saying it was awful, yeah, it was awful, but at the time, that's how the WWE did their business. They just didn't have they didn't have a whole lot of talented women like that.
right.
In the sense that you go, bruh, how come they're not being pushed more? Like you weren't saying that. You just weren't. So, but anyways, is there anything else to point out? He talked about Post Malone share for CM Punk.
Oh yeah, he said that wasn't drawn up either. He was like, no, yeah, that wasn't fake. That was real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, but I
Yeah,
salute.
it was real. It was real, Seth. You know, you just like how you feel injury was real.
I salute him for not pressing charges on that person that attacked him in the ring.
I was going to bring that up. Thank you. You beat me to the punch. Go ahead.
I'll salute him for that. That
Yes.
person, he was like, man, I think that person needed help. I don't think they needed jail time. The average
Because that
person would have
moment was
gave him jail time.
crazy.
I
That
remember.
moment was crazy.
At one point in time, I thought it was Queen's Flip, the dude from Queens. I thought that's what it was. That's what it looked like at one point. The one that used to go around and pranking people. That's what I thought it was. I was like, oh, shoot, is that Queen's Flip? But he said it wasn't him. I'm like, man, this dude across the line went over the joint like that. But yeah.
I done seen a video of that same dude who did what he did towards Seth Rollins, and he basically did like an apology video. He said like something's wrong with him, like mentally, like something like mentally is wrong with him.
Oh, he made a video apologizing? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I watched it. It was like it happened around the same time that had happened because I watched it off of a channel that I watched that was talking about wrestling content. I think it was called Wrestling Hub or something like that. And they had him on the video, and basically he was talking about like how he apologized to Seth Rollins, and he was hurt because he was like, because the he got scammed on social media. So some dude was pretending to be Seth Rollins, basically told him was like, "Yo, send me this S amount of money, and I'll make sure you get like pro wrestling training or blah 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 this and that third." So I believe the dude said he sent the dude the scam account over I think $1,000 and more dollars or something like that.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. It is
Yeah,
off of social media, and he's believing this is Seth Rollins. He's not believing it's a guy who arguably is as using
Oh, so now it
Seth
makes
Rollins as
sense.
boom boom. So he was
Yeah,
like,
now it makes
"You
sense on
took
the
my money.
attack.
I'm gonna go right there and beat your behind." Blah blah blah. And it's like, no, the dude did not take your money. Like you got scammed, bro. That wasn't Seth. And I've read through things like that before. You gotta be smarter, bro. If a person, first of all, if Seth Rollins was really talking to you, why did he pick up the phone to talk to you privately on a phone, and instead of just texting you on social media? You gotta pay attention. So like,
Right.
I get him feeling some type of way as far as Seth Rollins, but at the same as that time, like, bro, like what you did was absolutely dumb.
Right.
It was dumb. Because that's like me coming at you. You don't even know who the heck I am, and I'm like, Beezy, I'm a huge fan of yours, or I could be catfishing to be. Give me like some R&B shit that you thought was very funny that you would like to talk with if you had contact with
You said R&B what? What you say?
an R&B chick, say like an R&B chick or like a famous actress.
Okay.
Like, give me a name,
A girl or a guy?
a girl.
Tiana Taylor.
If I ask Tiana Taylor to come at you talking about, hey, I need you to like send me like 5 bands worth, I'm gonna send you. I need you to send me like $5,000, or and this is where I promise you, you'll get this, you'll get this, you'll get this, you get this. I need somebody on tour for me, and you actually send me $5,000, and I was just making this up, and I took your money, and I told you I was gonna pay you back in full, blah blah blah, blah whatever case may be. I got over you by catfishing the idea that I'm Tiana Taylor.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So that thing is sad, it's toxic, it's absolutely creepy as hell. But that thing does exist. Yeah,
That's true.
it does. You know what I'm saying? So, BZ, let me ask you: if you always ask a question about me being a pro wrestler, bro. If you was a pro wrestler and that dude did what he did towards you, are you fighting that dude back in the moment? I'm not asking about the. I'm not talking about the person charges.
And I mean the referees and stuff was there, but in the moment, I don't know. Tell you the truth, I don't know. I can't really say because of the business that I'm in. You got to think about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Even though you're not allowed to put your hands on nobody, I don't think they're allowed to put their hands on you either. He could have still got in trouble for that, even though you know what I'm saying. They the one who started it. He could have got in trouble for that if he actually damaged that person.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Triple H had to beat up a guy in the ring. I don't know if you saw the video clip, but he had to beat a guy in the ring for trying to get at Steve Austin at one point. There was
I
a
remember
match,
that.
and he had a.
I
You see
remember
that?
that.
Yeah, and he beat that. He beat that the bricks off of that boy, man. He beat him so bad it was dirty, bro. But that's what happens if you get in their business, bro. They have a right. I think, in my opinion, they have a right to put their hands on you, bro, because you're violating, my security. You're taking this thing too seriously. We're doing a show, not anything real. So if you're taking what I'm doing and you think you can do what I'm doing, not really thinking about it logically, I have every right to beat your behind. I'm sorry. Now, where it gets to the point where it could be detrimental is if I take it too far by like literally trying to hurt you that one way. Then you got that idea of like, okay, Josiah, you need to be sued, or we're having to let you go of your contract because you took it too far. I completely understand that because I did go too far, right?
Uh,
But if it's something to the point where I'm just punching the crap out of you, and I'm saying don't you ever get in the ring with me, boom, boom, I just warn you, blah blah blah. I don't think there's a problem with that, in my
right.
opinion. But that's just me.
Right.
Let me see. Uh, he didn't plan to necessarily date Becky, making her and have a child. What did you make of Seth talking about Becky Lynch?
Hold on. Hold on. I think that Seth Rollins and the Becky Lynch situation, um, it did get me to understand a lot more of how doctors and lawyers date lawyers. Because at one point I was like, nah, that didn't make sense. But at the same time, they understand because of the things that they go through. They on call all the time. They always got their beeper on them. Emergencies happen at any given moment. They got to leave and stuff like that. When you connect it to Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, and stuff like that. As far as being on the road 300 days out the year, fighting 215 times a year, having to be on,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, coming home, only get to be home for 36 hours and then you're back on the road and stuff like that or whatever. Only a person that's in your industry you'll be able to date because they'll understand you because they're going through the same thing. So when you look at it
That
from
was
that
dope.
standpoint, I get it. And then him
Completely understand.
explaining her as far as them being best friends, the friendship and stuff like that. Him even talking about going poly, having multiple girls is kind of crazy. But
That was crazy. I never even knew
yeah,
that. When he asked him about that, I
but
said, "What?
yeah,
What?" I was
man.
like, "Say he's
But
trying to be a man. Yeah,
explaining,
he's trying to be a player."
yeah, but it's just explaining a lot of stuff that you know how smooth relationships go. Normally, the good relationships happen when the relationship is smooth. When it's smooth, ain't no arguments, ain't no back and forth like that or whatever, and stuff like that. That's when you just know that it's a genuine situation. A lot of times when people butt heads with each other is when it's like, ah, yeah, this relationship probably ain't gonna work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah, so yeah, but they did the right thing was building the friendship first before they, you know what I'm saying, took it anywhere else. So yeah, it's a respectable relationship for sure. I respect what they got going on, and it makes total sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah,
It does. It does. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they always say, well, I don't know what I was going to say before they always say, but I was going to say, like, it is dope to see that he's talked about, how much he got love for her and their child and what they have to do with that and, how they navigate their lives. I thought it was hilarious when he talked about, like, how he said, when she asked him, like, when she told him that they should remain as friends, and he was like, yeah. And then he said his heart started being like, but I don't want to be your friend.
right.
I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
real,
it
bro.
almost lost her.
That's real. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? And then before you know it, but if you read Becky's book, it gets way more in depth as to how they started getting around each other, and it led to one thing. I think if they had watched the movie together, and then next thing you know, love started to blossom for both of them. So yeah, man. But there you
Yeah,
go. Um, now I'm married and have a baby. We got a baby daughter who I think may be a pro wrestler one day. I don't know, but hopefully she probably won't be.
yeah,
That's a hard life to do. But speaking of sports, he did talk about the football. He's a Chicago Bears fan. Thing he said.
yeah. He's a
Was it a
Bears
nerd?
fan.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Bears?
Yeah, I like the Bears.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Yep, I
man.
like the Bears.
You know what
I
I'm
didn't
saying?
know
So
anything about the Bears almost going to Indiana though. I didn't know that.
yeah, that was good to me. I was like, what?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's interesting. He said, my man said, I might, he's a child, he's a Chase Gary, he's in Chicago, Indiana.
Right.
I was crying. That's the same city that MJ was born, which you ironically mentioned about Bad Bunny. He said Bad Bunny
Yeah,
is like the MJ of our generation.
yeah.
Oof, hot take.
In his mind, yeah, his mind.
Hot
Whatever.
take.
I don't ever give a Bad Bunny that type of credit. They crazy. What's wrong with them? Bad Bunny. Stop it. That's insane.
Yo, BZ, you funny as hell. Yo, hey, in a way, he not that's well, uh, he not lying to a degree, to a extent, to an extent, right? I don't think Bad Bunny is like no crazy icon, legend, boom, 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 unless he is for his people and people who love him over there in Puerto Rico and things like that. Shout out to them, no problem. Um, but I kind of do see his point to a degree when you read think about it. I mean, it's kind of is like a universal, like very popular, established icon to a degree, where you're like, bro, like this guy is able to do a wrestling match with Damian Priest, and he wrestled with Damian Priest in a brutal match too. That's another thing. That Street Fighter was brutal, bro. So when you play out some contests to a degree, I mean, he's not entirely telling the truth. I mean, not telling the truth, right? Or do you still think it's just BS or just bogus or something like that?
Hmm.
Yeah. He's like, nah, I'm not gonna comment on that. Sorry, you can have
Right.
that. He's like, nope. But yeah, this is a great interview to cover for Seth Rollins, Club Shay. We should do some more of this for some other wrestlers when we get a chance. I think this is pretty dope. I
Yeah.
just read take some more notes about these guys and
I
ready to get
think
into it,
I
man.
think the next one we should do is what's his name? Hold on. What's his name? Because I started watching it earlier today.
Okay.
He's on there with Stephanie McMahon.
Oh,
Uh,
you want to about the What's Your Story, Joy?
yeah. What's my boy name? Uh,
Shout out to Stephanie
he
McMahon, bro. Her podcast is
he
fire,
just
by the way.
came back for the Royal Rumble. What's his name? Yep, what's Royce
Oh,
Keys?
shoot. Oh, he was on there?
Yeah, he got an emotional first interview since WWE debuted with Stephanie
Wow.
McMahon. They got a big
Wow.
yeah, they got a Big E one on Stephanie's joint. They got a Roman Reigns one.
Yeah.
They got a Randy Orton one, and they got a John Cena one.
Rain Worm one was fire. I watched
Yeah,
Rain
they got
Worm.
an AJ Lee one. So yeah, I think we should go over those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we gotta watch
that'd
it.
be dope.
We definitely gotta watch it for sure. 1,000%.
Yeah, the Royce Keys I think came out either today or yesterday, something like
Okay. Okay. We can plan out to do that. I'll tell you what. I'll watch it. I can watch it tonight if you want. That's
that.
up
Yeah,
to
I'm
you.
gonna try to watch it today too.
Okay, man. All right, bro.
Try. All right,
All
bro.
right. Yep.
Yep.
Boom, bang, two to the dome, you know I came to kill. And all the DJs and beat makers know the drill. Your boy back, they all run like sawmill. This beat was just sent to me, this was a fresh kill. What you ain't know when I load up, I act wild. Like draw four, my screen kicks like a bad child. It's time to relocate, but not the eastbound. Call me a virus, we moving to the west now. I've been bugging more ammo than any Russian. My 16s I air out like a semi-bussin'. My chick bad, I sing to her like David Ruffin. Give her the game, she roll up, we lit and puffin'. Thought I was done, but this rapping is in my bloodline. Keep feeding me beats, I zip them up like K-Shine. The swag so out of this world, never in state lines. Used to be passing with everything, now I take mine. Pittsburgh, my name Monty, some of you notice me. I get you lit and I'm brown, nickname me Hennessy. I came in the game, they ain't do nothing but doubt. But now I feel like a tongue to win my name in your mouth.